Can you tell me your name?
My name is Jeff.
Holy crap.
In today's surveillance-driven society, security cameras have become an essential tool for protecting our public places, homes, and communities. From commercial malls to residential neighborhoods, these attentive eyes create a sense of security and comfort. They occasionally capture chilling imagery that shakes our collective consciousness. What is it about human nature's darkest corners that disturbs us? And what terrifying scenes have been captured on camera? Join us as we expose how security cameras capture what no one was supposed to see. Number 16. The mysterious doll movement. It's almost a no-brainer to not have surveillance cameras in our homes and workplaces these days. One of the major reasons why this is no longer negotiable is for the sake of the children. Parents can't watch over them 24/7, so the one thing we can trust to perfectly do this job is a surveillance camera. Most people are often trying to monitor the activities of their children or how the nanny treats them. But what if you're told there's another mysterious side to this? Yeah, something supernatural happens while we're not looking, and you only need to watch this footage to believe that supernatural is a part of our world that we often ignore. People have surveillance cameras in their homes to protect their children, but look at what's happening here. It's understandable that a lot of kids have autonomy and independence these days, but the parental instinct will always be there to keep them safe. While some people don't think parents should be overprotective of their kids when they're at home, this footage will actually change your mind. This clip was taken a few years ago. This clip shows the moment when a doll belonging to a little girl began to seemingly move on its own. Although it looked like a subtle movement, if you take a closer look, the movement becomes more obvious. The scariest part was that the little girl didn't even know what was going on. She was just enjoying herself and having some fun time with her toys, unaware of the fact that there was something spooky going on with her other doll. So what could be going on? Or have they started manufacturing dolls that do move on their own? If you're not very convinced, how about we take it up a few notches? Stay tuned for what comes next. It promises to be even spookier. Number 15. The Undying Pasta. The video featuring this mysterious creature may seem very creepy to many, and this is not surprising. The horrible scream and the appearance of the monster cause anxiety. The main character of the video looks like a ghost or a resurrected corpse. He is dressed in a white dress, and his long hair flows in the wind. The creature walks with an unnatural gait and screams terribly. Then its thin legs lift off the ground and it begins to hover. Soon, the monster disappears from the camera's view. You might think these are shots from a horror movie, but the author of the video claims to have encountered this creature on the grounds of an abandoned church. According to legend, over 200 years ago, a priest who had gone mad took his own life there. Number 14. Front porch ghost. When you think about it, the entire point of having a security camera is to have an extra set of eyes when you're not around. However, while you might expect to catch things like people walking across your house, there are times when these cameras could capture something out of the ordinary. Take this next footage, for instance. It was captured back in September 2021, and according to the person who published it, it showed what appeared to be a ghostly apparition moving across their front porch. It might have been faint, but we can all see that wispy figure moving from one side to the other. Now, if that doesn't give the homeowner the creeps, there's probably nothing that. Some people actually claim that it was most likely just a light manipulation caught at the wrong time. Well, the skepticism isn't strange. People usually find it hard to believe these things. Have you ever seen the spirit leaving the body? Well, this next clip is going to show you what you've never seen before. Number 13. Spirit at intersection. This nerve-wracking footage from an undisclosed source captures a devastating car accident that has left viewers both shocked and intrigued. The scene opens with a cacophony of sirens as red ambulances rush to the site of the collision, where two cars have collided violently. The aftermath reveals a chaotic tableau: damaged vehicles strewn across the road, debris scattered, and emergency responders working diligently to assist the injured. Among the wreckage lies one of the drivers, visibly injured and receiving urgent medical attention inside an ambulance. The atmosphere is thick with tension and anxiety as bystanders watch, some recording the events on their phones, while others offer assistance or comfort to those affected. As the video unfolds, an unsettling phenomenon occurs. A dark, hazy, translucent shadow appears to materialize behind one of the ambulances. This shadow, resembling the figure of a man, goes unnoticed by the emergency personnel and bystanders, adding an eerie layer to the already tragic scene. The apparition is captured clearly on camera, leading to widespread speculation once the footage circulates online. Viewers are divided in their interpretations of the shadow's significance. Many believe it to be the spirit of the injured driver, separated from his physical body yet lingering near the ambulance, possibly bidding farewell before departing to the afterlife. This notion taps into deep-seated beliefs about the existence of spirits and the idea that individuals may not instantly leave their earthly ties after a traumatic event. The incident has sparked discussions about the nature of life and death, as well as the possible presence of the supernatural. Social media platforms are abuzz with theories, with some users sharing personal anecdotes of similar experiences, while others approach the footage with skepticism, attributing the shadow to a trick of the light or a camera glitch. The broader implications of such footage extend beyond mere curiosity. It raises questions about how we process trauma and loss, both individually and collectively. In a society increasingly saturated with media, the intersection of tragedy and technology often leads to a blend of emotional responses, from grief to fascination. As the investigation into the accident continues, the community grapples with the reality of the situation. The injured driver, now a subject of speculation and intrigue, becomes a symbol of the fragility of life. The haunting image of the shadow serves as a reminder of the mysteries that often accompany tragic events, leaving those involved to ponder the unseen forces that may linger in the aftermath of such calamities. This incident, much like others that have captured public attention, underscores the complex relationship between human experiences and the media that documents them. The footage not only serves as a record of a tragic event, but also invites viewers to explore the deeper meanings and implications of what they see, blurring the lines between reality and the supernatural in the process. Number 12. The Deathbed footage. Talking about the supernatural on October 3, 2020, YouTuber Gail N. shared a video capturing a profoundly emotional moment in a hospital room. The footage shows an elderly woman, identified as Gail's mother, resting in a hospital bed, appearing to be near the end of her life after a prolonged illness with no signs of recovery. As Gail recorded, mysterious white orbs began to manifest in the room, gradually increasing in size as they moved toward the camera and then vanishing, leaving an eerie trail in their wake. These orbs are often interpreted in two distinct ways. Some viewers believe they represent angels or spiritual guides that assist the dying in transitioning from the physical world to the spiritual one. At the same time, paranormal investigators argue that the orbs are spirits of the deceased, albeit with variations in shape and size compared to other ghostly apparitions captured in similar footage. The woman in the video remained motionless throughout the recording and was later pronounced dead. Number 11. Spirit Roams. Exploring spiritual phenomena, the following video brings a unique perspective. Recorded by a bedroom security camera, an intriguing event unfolds that defies conventional explanation. The footage focuses on a middle-aged woman peacefully asleep in a spacious bed, with another person slumbering in a smaller bed nearby. All seems ordinary until a whitish, ethereal figure materializes, seemingly out of nowhere, floating into view. It hovers around the woman on the larger bed before gently entering her body. Moments later, the figure exits her body and drifts away, mirroring its arrival. Upon reviewing the footage, the woman is understandably shaken by witnessing an entity entering and leaving her body. This raises the question, what could this phenomenon signify? Some viewers speculate this could be a case of astral projection, where the soul exits and returns to the body possibly multiple times. Others ponder the possibility of interaction with another spiritual entity, yet the truth remains elusive, adding another enigmatic piece to the puzzle of spiritual encounters caught on camera. Upon looking into it more, a few paranormal experts weighed in with their thoughts. Some think it shows a spirit guide watching over the woman while she sleeps, while others believe it's just an energy shift caught on camera. Of course, skeptics are quick to say it's probably just a camera glitch or weird lighting. Whatever the case, the footage has definitely left people talking with no clear answers in sight. It's one of those strange moments that keeps the mystery of the paranormal alive and well. Number 10. Hospital hallway haunting. A peculiar and nerve-wracking occurrence happened in a hospital corridor in India in 2014, and it was recorded on video. The clip opens in the middle of the night and reveals a quiet, almost deserted corridor. The only life in the scene is a few individuals sleeping on the floor. The hospital's morgue is located at the end of the corridor, which certainly adds to the spooky ambiance of the hallway. Suddenly, a black figure in the shape of a man begins to come close to the entrance to the morgue. It doesn't take long for the figure to begin moving down the corridor toward the camera. At first, the figure moves gingerly, almost as if it is hesitant to go in the direction of the slumbering humans. Then it picks up speed, unbelievable speed. In the last moments before it disappears, it seems to glide across the floor, leaving no disturbance in the air or dust around it. The people nearby who are sleeping remain undisturbed by its passing, if you can call it a passing, when it exits by cutting through the wall directly in front of the sleeping patients. Some believe that this being was the spirit of one of the unclaimed deceased from the morgue who was finally stepping out of its physical shell. Experiences with supernatural presences are not uncommon for the medical community. Doctors, nurses, and patients have encountered ghostly figures and experienced mysterious, unexplainable events. Number 9. The Visitor. Captured on a surveillance camera in a small rural town, this next video is as eerie as it is mysterious. It shows a dark, quiet street in the dead of night, with nothing but the occasional rustle of leaves and distant sounds of nature. Suddenly, a shadowy figure appears out of nowhere, walking slowly down the street. Its movements are unnatural, almost robotic, as it glides across the pavement. The figure stops in front of a house, where it remains for several minutes, seemingly staring at the front door. Then, without warning, it vanishes into thin air, leaving no trace behind. The video ends with the street as empty and quiet as it was before, but now filled with a sense of unease. Local residents claim that the house where the figure stopped has a history of unexplained occurrences, with previous occupants reporting strange noises, flickering lights, and objects moving on their own. Some believe the figure was a ghost or spirit, while others think it might be something even more sinister. Whatever the case, the footage has left viewers unnerved, with many wondering who or what the visitor was and why it chose that particular house on that fateful night. Well, get ready for more. Number 8. The Sorclad Spirit. The Sorclad Spirit has taken social media by storm. It appears to show a woman's spirit leaving her body and has captured the imaginations of viewers. On Instagram, the popular account PJ Gantai shared the content that has since catapulted to over 1.4 million views and 86,000 likes. But as with all viral videos on social media, it is essential to not take the content too seriously. Whether or not it is meant to be scary, the video is clearly edited and meant to be funny. The video clip portrays an Indian woman in a red sari lying prostrate on the ground. She seems to be without life, her eyes open and unseeing. Then a glitch happens, and an apparition of her, or possibly her spirit, appears over her body. This entity mirrors the woman in life, rising up to the sacred space where the head was once positioned. It faces down and back at the corpse. Then it turns from what it just seemed to us watching, giving smiles that, let's be honest, are pretty much straight out of Hollywood horror effect. The video is for comedic effect, yet it brings up some provocative queries that concern how we perceive the portrayal of spiritual matters in our various forms of media. It is indeed quite humorous, but is it acceptable to laugh when dealing with such an important concept? Or is the importance of said concept a reason to keep our portrayal serious business? The laughability of this connection made in the video is something that I truly question. Ultimately, the Sorclad Spirit might just be a humorous video, but the discussions it has engendered testify to the piece's potential for provocation. The discussions seem centered around what makes this video a good piece of entertainment, since except for its being in a different language, it could easily be one such piece made in North America. But the Sorclad Spirit can and has also compelled light-hearted discussions of the why behind its premise. Do you know that people have been trying to capture ghosts leaving the body for a very long time? Check it out in the next clip. Number 7. Kuran Photography. Back in 1939, Soviet scientist Semyon Kuran made a curious discovery. As a result of the process of placing a small object, such as a coin or a leaf, on photographic paper and passing a high voltage across it, he received a photograph that showed a glowing aura around the object he used. This gave a start to whole generations of scientists who would use this technique, which is known as Kuran Photography, to make all kinds of controversial claims. These claims include taking photos of the human aura, the body's vital energy chi, and even the human soul leaving the body at the moment of death. Korotkov claims that the blue color in the captured image is nothing but the individual's vital energy gradually abandoning the body during death. According to scientists, the navel and the head are the parts of the human body that detach from the energy or the soul, while the groin and the heart are the last areas to be disconnected from the spirit leaving the body. Korotkov says that in some cases, it is noted how the souls of the people who have experienced some kind of violent or unexpected death return to the physical body days after death. This might occur due to a surplus of unused energy. However, the scientific community never accepted Kuran photography as a valid method. Studies showed that the aura in the Kuran photographs originates from an object's moisture. Moreover, a research team from Poland conducted experiments with Korotkov's GDV device. They aimed to find the connection between human contact with different natural and synthetic textiles and physiological functions like blood pressure and heart rate, so they took several corona discharge images. The results were inconclusive, and the Polish scientists could not find any connection between human contact and the images captured with Korotkov's GDV camera. So it seems that despite the promising claims, the photo taken by Korotkov provides no evidence that it was indeed the human soul leaving the body during death. Number 6. An invitation to the underworld. Do you know that instance where people say they're so embarrassed they feel like the entire ground could open up and swallow them? Well, what if you're told that this stuff could actually happen for real? Back in 2017, this footage caused a huge firestorm on social media, showing the moment when a large sinkhole suddenly ripped open. The footage, which was captured by surveillance cameras, caused massive panic amongst many locals in the area. Now you might be thinking, it's just a sinkhole, what's the big deal? Well, that's because you haven't seen the rest of the clip. Apparently, a man on a scooter was riding toward the sinkhole and was so engrossed in the contents of his phone that he didn't see what was in front of him. The result? Well, the good news is that the man didn't suffer any major injuries because the sinkhole wasn't so deep. He was even able to get up on his own and climb out, where paramedics were waiting to administer the necessary treatment. Still, you can imagine how embarrassed and scared he must have felt at that moment. So here's some simple advice for everyone. If you're operating any vehicle, no matter how many wheels it has, please don't text and drive. It's totally not worth it, and you'll be putting not just your life at risk, but also the lives of others. Number 5. William Mumler's discovery. Away from the safety instructions. Do you know that the practice of capturing elusive spirits through a camera's lens can be traced back to photography's very origins? During the 19th century, amid the bustling streets of Boston, a jeweler named William Mumler stumbled upon a remarkable discovery. In one of his self-portraits, he first glimpsed the ethereal presence of a feminine ghost. Initially dismissing it as a trick of the light, perhaps a double exposure, Mumler's conviction wavered when his friends assured him otherwise. Excited by the tantalizing prospect of this newfound phenomenon, Mumler made a bold decision. He shattered his jewelry shop, casting aside his previous trade to embark on a groundbreaking venture. He became the world's first spirit photographer. The allure of capturing the unseen, the spectral, proved irresistible, propelling Mumler into uncharted territory. Mumler's newfound career as a spirit photographer flourished, attracting clients eager to connect with lost loved ones from beyond the veil. The coffers filled, and success seemed assured, until keen-eyed patrons noticed an unsettling pattern. The spirits appearing in Mumler's photographs bore an uncanny resemblance to individuals who had previously posed for his camera. As accusations of fraud began to swirl, Mumler found himself thrust into the unforgiving glare of public scrutiny. Despite facing a trial for his alleged deception, Mumler evaded conviction, though his reputation suffered irreparable damage. Yet, from the ashes of scandal arose a burgeoning industry that would endure through the ages. Today, the legacy of Mumler lives on in the modern incarnation of spirit photography known as Kuran Photography. Though the methods may have evolved, the enduring fascination with capturing the intangible essence of the spirit world remains as potent as ever. Well, other legacies have stuck around too. Number 4. The Ghost of the Stanley Hotel. The Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, has been around for more than 100 years and was built as a posh getaway for the wealthy seeking solitude in the mountains. As the years passed, however, occupancy declined, and by the 1970s, the Grand Hotel had fallen into disrepair. It was around that time that famed author Stephen King spent the night there and was inspired to write the book The Shining. The book and blockbuster film helped return the Stanley to its former glory. Now, guests flock to see the hotel that inspired one of the scariest horror movies of all time. Given its history, it's no surprise that many visitors report strange happenings. Aware of the ghostly rumors, Texas resident Henry Yao booked a last-minute getaway on April 2016 to investigate. After arriving, Yao had dinner, then wandered around the Stanley Hotel to take photos. Stopping at the staircase, he waited for people to clear the area, then took a picture, thinking nothing of it. Later that night, however, Yao fell seriously ill, feeling sick and experiencing shivers. His companion suggested he go to the emergency room, but Yao refused. On the trip home, Yao reviewed the photos he'd taken and discovered a strange image of someone standing on the stairs, despite there being no one there. The next day, he posted the photo on Instagram, joking that he'd captured a ghost and the world took notice. Overnight, Yao found himself in the limelight, with global media outlets and paranormal experts seeking to examine the photo. Some experts claimed to see two ghosts, while others speculated that the ghost was trying to materialize, draining energy from Yao and causing his illness. Yao remains unsure, laughing and saying he has no idea what to make of it. What if you are told demonic possession is real and it's caught on camera? Well, stay tuned and find out. Number 3. Demonic possession at the shopping mall. Are you familiar with this feeling? You appear to have your entire day planned, and something just comes out of the blue and throws a wrench in your plans. If you have, then it won't be hard to imagine how these people must have felt when they came across this situation. Let's roll it back to 2016. Footage from a local shopping mall in China made the rounds on the internet after it captured what appeared to be a woman battling a severe case of demonic possession, and it was absolutely creepy and terrifying to watch. The clip started out like nothing out of the ordinary. The woman was moving calmly along the shopping aisle just like everyone else, picking items from their stalls and examining them. In a blink of an eye, this happened. The moment the gesticulation began, people close to the woman immediately rushed to her side to check out what in the world was going on. In fact, things got so bad that the lady literally began shrieking, making weird sounds and movements. Everyone around her was determined to get her under control, although it seemed she was just as determined not to be tamed. At this point, you would think that she had finally chilled out and was out of whatever phase she was in. But as it turned out, she still had a little more in the tank. Luckily, everyone involved and the people around were able to stabilize the lady's condition and get her out of where she was. So do you still not believe that demonic possessions are real? Well, to further convince you, here's another proof that demonic possessions are real. Number 2. Possessed little baby. Look at this next clip, which appears to validate the fact demonic possessions are real. To make things scarier, even babies aren't immune to these attacks. Also out of 2016, the next video takes place in the home of Chuck and Kate Booth in the United States. Chuck and Kate had just welcomed their little bundle of joy, Connor. Just like every other parent in the country, they doted after the little boy day and night. As you would expect, Chuck and Kate had installed nanny cams in Connor's room so they could watch him remotely, but one night they got an absolute scare when they heard noises from his room. The next day, Chuck and Kate checked the nanny cam, only to find little Connor doing some not-so-baby-like things. Now the whole thing kind of seemed like Connor was just being a restless little kid, but things took a turn for the darker when he literally climbed on the edge of his crib. It was just for a moment, but if you watch the footage properly, you will agree that for those few seconds, this baby boy wasn't normal. If his stance doesn't bother you, what about that weird shriek that he gave and the color of his eyes? The weirdest part of it all is the fact that a child who was probably just a few months old literally balanced on the edge of his crib without holding anything and maintained his position for well over 30 seconds. Surely that couldn't have been just because the boy had perfect balance from the womb. Thankfully, baby Connor wasn't harmed. When this clip came out, it immediately got a lot of attention online. Many people claimed it was fake, but Chuck and Kate were adamant that there was no doctoring here. Well, if this clip really is true, these guys might want to take little Connor to a priest or something. How much do you think a wind could cause? Well, in the next clip, you'll find out that it could cost a fortune. Number 1. The Blount Island Marine Terminal. The Blount Island Marine Terminal is situated in Jacksonville, Florida, United States. It's located on Blount Island, which is nestled in the St. Johns River, approximately 12.5 nautical miles from the Atlantic Ocean. This prime location enables efficient access to major transportation routes, making it an ideal hub for international trade and commerce. The terminal handles a massive amount of cargo daily. However, considering its size, it's not far-fetched to imagine that a simple mishap could be catastrophic for everyone. That proved to be the case on August 13, 2008, when the Blount Island terminal fell victim to strong winds, which operators had apparently been ill-prepared for. The winds that blew all across the city of Jacksonville were so strong that they ended up pushing a 950-ton container crane along its rail. This caused the crane to crash directly into one of its neighboring cranes, essentially causing a standstill all across the terminal. The footage of the accident was a bit shaky, but it was still clear enough to capture the extent of the damage done here. In just a few seconds, the two cranes collided, causing them to break down entirely. It goes without saying that the incident, which came to be known as the Blount Island crane catastrophe, was quite terrible. According to reports, each crane that got damaged in the footage cost about $6 million at the time, so the port authorities were already on the hook for $12 million as the two cranes were damaged beyond repair. To make matters more concerning, the port authorities had to pay an additional $1 million to clean up the mess that was caused by the wind. The authorities also had to make necessary repairs for the port to get back to full operating capacity. Luckily, no one was operating the cranes, and so there were no injuries during the incident. This is a perfect reason why public spaces like these need to have adequate preparations for extreme weather conditions, no matter how you slice it. Well, to preserve their dignity, the port wouldn't have wanted this footage to make the rounds on the internet. We really just have to be very careful in our daily lives and be vigilant. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. Also check out another interesting video by clicking on the video shown on your screen. See you on the other side.